Hello, this is Word of the Horde. I'm Dan. Joining me as always is Chris. In this extract from our podcast, we will be talking about Invincible, episodes 1 to 4, Invincible on Amazon Prime, if you've got it. Anyway, really interesting cartoon, loving it. Here's what we think about it. Thanks for listening. So, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like how I just began the segment? Like it's this
So
would be so slick. I don't know
it's
how.
so slick.
So slick. Even just
It's
talking
already
about it.
slick. I'm
It's
just
so
like,
slick.
wow, that's slick. Damn,
Just
that's slick,
yeah.
son.
I should have thought of a cool segue into it like I did with the last one, but I didn't this time.
No, you didn't.
I just
No, you
started.
didn't.
I haven't even begun this. I haven't even said.
I'm still not sure what we're talking about, but yeah, go on. What's the conversation we're gonna have?
Well, Chris,
Well,
have you seen Din Din? And I was going to do but I can't do it on a podcast.
But yeah, you can't put a visual up when there's
Where
nothing.
it says,
I have seen dun, dun, splash
seen
with blood.
Invincible.
Yes, I have seen. Yeah, Invincible. I have seen it, and I have very much enjoyed Invincible.
Yeah.
It's been a joy. Having not knowing anything about it going into it was the perfect way to watch it. So anybody that hasn't seen it yet, don't listen to the rest of this because you won't enjoy it as much. Because we're going to spoil it.
Have you just seen it this week in the last since we last talked, or did we talk about it last time?
I saw the first 4 episodes in one go.
Right.
And then saw this week's episode, which is episode number 5.
Okay.
I watched them all in one go last week, which was on Friday.
We haven't talked since then, though.
We haven't talked since then, no.
Right,
so we haven't seen anything of it.
So
I watched this week's episode, so I'm up to date again now. But it was nice watching it like that as well because it was like a good little, hour or so, a couple of hours even of the series. And I like the fact that it's a long cartoon. I like the fact it's like a 45-minute long, good little taste of it. But I've loved it. I love the darkness of it. It's kind of like Watchmen, but done in a sort of Justice League style, like kind of real nice and crisp drawing and paint, like artwork and stuff. But yeah, it's super dark and
I
really like it.
What I loved about it is just kind of. I love that it started out and you think it's just a normal kind of cartoon, and then that Omni-Man just starts ripping people's heads off and with guts everywhere, and you're like, whoa, okay, here we go then.
It's just like it keeps. It doesn't have a lot of this is an obvious thing that they do in superhero things. They suggest them. They have those bits where you're like, oh, that's a clever, that's a homage to Wonder Woman, or that's this thing, or that's that thing, or that's when he gets his first test against a supervillain. But yeah, it's done in a way that it's kind of twisted, so that everything's it's not quite what you expect it to be, which I quite like. It kind of shows in this episode when he comes up against that team, he's like, actually, we're all here, and you're like, oh yay, and then everybody gets killed again. And you're just like, Jesus Christ, what's going on?
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
no luck.
I was like, another massacre. It's like we're literally
of the new team as well. It's like you just found out who this team is, and they've just literally just got murked by this one dude who's like, I came to Earth looking for a champion. And meanwhile, actual Ultraman or whatever his name is
Omni-Man,
just stood there Omni-Man's not even bothered. No, he's just I'm not getting involved. This isn't my battle sort of thing. So yeah, it's dark and I kind of like it.
I loved the I mean, obviously, there's loads of bits in it. In fact, one bit highlight for me is that bit where those aliens invade through that portal, and they're a different time, and so every time they go away for a day, they come back, and it's been 6 weeks or whatever. And when Omni-Man goes there, I mean, he just must have spent 3 weeks flying around the planet, just trashing the entire planet until they let him leave, and then he comes back with a beard, and the entire civilization is just devastated. I just thought that is just ruthless. It's just some really nice stuff in this.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought. I mean, even the stuff where she's in this latest episode where she's like, why don't you pick up some food from here and some wine from here, and she knows the time it's going to be. It's that's such a clever thing to do in a superhero film. You know what I mean? It's it's not just, I don't know, it's something you couldn't do in another film. You could do it in some sense, but it's just something that played well in that. I'm like, it's very clever. And it's really obvious that the people that wrote it, who wrote the comic originally, are massive fans of comic books
Oh yeah,
because it's so familiar. But yet, is always a weird twist on what, like say, on the characters and the scenarios and whatever.
yeah. I think that's what's so clever, and even just kind of just simple things like spending so much time in this recent episode just with
Hmm.
that rock guy, that guy with the
Yeah,
body, and just what he was doing, kind of take it. They just spend a lot of time, like that fight he had in the warehouse. There's so much detail to what's happening. Like when his shell's getting destroyed, and then he has to take cover, and then he's like uses a gun that she throws it into someone's face, and
yeah. I thought that was funny. I thought he was going to shoot him. He
yeah, just like
just murks him with
fuck.
the gun, just smashes it into his face. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But
that
just
was
stuff
funny.
like that, I thought there's so much kind of detail and thought gone into all the different applications of powers and situations that are happening. It's really
Hmm.
it's really got a lot of weight to it. And like you said, the writing is yeah, they definitely know a lot about comics because there's so many tropes in it that are just
Hmm.
subverted and used in a different way and cleverly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool how a lot of the bad guys and stuff in it aren't like they look and they come across like the same bad guys, but actually they're all a bit different. Like there's a bit in this episode where you see a guy going, "Okay, I surrender," and then just gets punched like off the
Yeah.
screen. But it's like they're not like the bad guys from Batman were like, "I'll take you down next time." They're a bit like they're just people, you know what I mean? They live in
Yeah.
this world, and it's like everything seems quite like normal. Superheroes are just normal, and it's like it's not like, oh my god, they're gods. They're like, oh, it's this dude or it's that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's made to be kind of more. It's
It,
interesting. Have you read any, or do you know any of the comics or anything that this is written about?
I'd heard of the comic, but no, I hadn't read it. But it's
You haven't
Mark
read it
Miller,
either.
isn't it? Is it Mark Millar? Is it?
I believe so. Some maybe I don't know.
Because I've
I think
read.
it's actually Kevin Smith that's making the TV series.
Is it? All right, that's
Mm.
interesting. Because
Well,
I've
he's
read
got
a
something to
couple
do
of.
with it, I believe. Anyway.
I've read like Nemesis and a couple of the Mark Millar
Mm.
ones, Crooks, Super Crooks or something, and maybe
Hmm.
Superior.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this actually is one of his ones. I might just be talking utter bollocks. No, it's Robert Kirkman, is it?
Created by Robert Kirkman and
Yeah,
Cory
yeah,
Walker.
okay. Yeah, so I'm talking utter garbage.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he's the guy who made The Walking Dead, isn't it? Like, he made this.
Oh, right, is that who it is?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, that
So
makes more
it's
sense.
fucking Mark Millar. I don't know where I'm thinking.
Thing
It's
is,
just
I
like
read the books you were talking about, and I'm like, yeah, it's
thing is,
very
I
impressive.
think you know what it was. I think because Superior, it's a little similar kind. It was about a major sort
Mm,
of
mhm.
Superman superhero, like, and I think I always sort of I heard about this being made and just thought it was the word superior. I don't know what it was, and I keep thinking it in my head, kind of, but I know it's not that, and it's just like I don't know. I guess I just anyway. It's Robert Kirkman. Yeah, that's interesting.
Robert Kirkman. He's the guy who did the actual episodes as well of it. He's the
Yeah.
actual
Well, he's the guy he
creator and
did
co-writer
Walking Dead,
the
and
episodes.
um, um, Glenn is
Yeah,
invincible.
Glenn's yeah,
That's the
is
funniest
Mark Grayson,
line.
and I love the
Yeah,
fact that J.K. Simmons is actually what's his
there's some
face,
great voices
who's
in
Glenn.
this.
It's real. Like
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
you what, the cast of it,
Casting, yeah.
even stuff. What's his name? Rex Blodes, Jason Mance. What's his name? You know the guy that's like, you know who he is. Jason Manzokes.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
Manzokes.
the
You know what
crazy
I mean?
guy from
Crazy guy. Yeah,
um
crazy guy. Crazy from everything.
crazy like looking guy,
He's
like
in
oh
Brooklyn
whatever.
Nine-Nine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's in yeah, he's in The League, he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
guy. But yeah, like some like it's got loads of
Well,
sort of
Walton.
awesome actors. And the chick that plays Diablo in is it Diablo? Yeah, the lucky one in Deadpool 2.
All right, is she in it as well? Okay.
Yeah, she's in
Well,
it as
what's
well,
his
yeah.
name? Gillian Jacobs, from Community. She's
Yeah,
Atom
she's in
Eve
it.
or whatever her
Yeah, yeah.
name is.
Yeah.
Um,
Atom Eve, yeah.
Walton Goggins. He's Nick Fury, whatever his fucking name is in the show.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
that character. So I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember his name.
The
Like,
guy with the scar on his face.
yeah, it's
No,
basically
like
Nick
I said,
Fury.
it's got some really good actors. And it's kind of off what they would normally do, not necessarily like the things you would expect them to play, because, like I say, it's a cartoon series. But no, I am enjoying it. Apparently, it
Yeah.
has nothing to do with Kevin Smith, from what I've just read on IMDb. So I don't know what I'm
We
talking about.
are so
Don't
full
know
of
where I found that from,
shit. I see. I
mate. If
thought
people
that.
are looking to us for the truth, then they're
Who
looking in the wrong
cares?
place. So
It's like, yeah, they can Google it if they want to know these details. You know what I mean? Who
yeah.
cares?
Oh no,
Kevin Smith's
should.
making the He-Man cartoon though, isn't he? Like, so that's why I thought
I saw thing with Kevin
I didn't
Smith
think it'd be
talking
him.
about Invincible. That's why I assumed they were talking, because they were talking to him about it. Like, what do you think? Blah blah blah. And he was like, oh, like this and this and this. But I mean, like the way he talks, like he made it, you know. So, but I'm currently watching the scene where he kills all of the team
Well,
at the start.
Mark Hamill's in it apparently somewhere. I don't know what.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's in it. He
Zachary Quinto
was.
as well. He's the
Oh, I didn't know
robot
he was in
dude.
it.
You know that
Ah,
robot.
right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But then
Interesting.
you know that machine head guy who was in it this
Yes.
last episode. That the voice to him is the guy. Do you remember Burn Notice, the TV show called Burn Notice? Do you remember that?
With
It's like
yeah, with the bald-headed guy in it. Or was that? Oh, am I
um,
thinking of Last Survivor or whatever
no,
it's
but
called?
it had it's an actor called Jeffrey Donovan, but it also had Burn Notice. Also had what's his name? Fucking Ash from Evil Dead. Bruce Campbell. He was also in that show.
Oh,
It's basically it's like a secret agent kind of goes on the run and
yeah,
gets
yeah, yeah.
burned.
I know what it is. Yeah, sorry, yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
No, I have watched it. I just I'm kind of trying to picture what it is, but yeah, I have seen it.
this Jeffrey Donovan, the guy who plays the main actor in that Notice guy, whatever, I don't know what his name is. But
Mhm,
I remember watching that show and thinking like every episode he would do like he played a weird character kind of just to sort of, trick someone
mhm.
and he'd do like an odd voice. And I remember thinking when I was watching that show, like, fucking hell, this guy can do some voices. Like, he'd always have a
Yeah, yeah,
different
some good
accent. He'd
voice
sound
acting.
like a completely different person though, it would just sound like a completely different guy. And
That's nice.
and weirdly enough, when that machine head guy was talking, I was going, this sounds like one of the voices that guy did in that show. Strangely, just I don't know how I
Right.
put it together. And it's him, mate. Honestly, I was like, I'm sure it's
That's
him.
so
Like,
odd.
and I actually is him doing the voice. I was like, no way. I don't know how my brain put that together, but it was just dead weird.
That's
Yeah.
bizarre, isn't it?
I thought it was funny. He was quite funny there when he's like, and that's a maple desk from Italy. Like, you have to pay for
Yeah,
that now as
yeah, yeah.
well. He's just an asshole. But yeah.
Yeah, Seth Rogen was in it as well.
Mm.
He was that alien, Alan the alien that turns up and fights him. He's like, "Wait, this
Oh
isn't
yeah.
blah blah blah
Oh,
planet," and you're like,
oh, you're not?
"Yeah,
Okay, bye. That's what I mean. That was like Lobo or something, wasn't it? Or something like that.
yeah." That's what I
There's
mean,
loads
though.
of
It's like I like the fact
mm,
they do those bits, but then you're kind of
that's
like,
what that's what's so cool. It's like Marvel and DC universes just getting mashed together and
hmm,
you know, everything's allowed in this universe. That's what I kind of like about it.
hmm. No, I do think it's a very good series, and like I say, brutal and grim and interesting, and
Yeah.
um, but yeah, just overall very interesting. I'm interested to see what happens. How many episodes is it going to be? 10 episodes?
I don't know. Actually, let's have a look.
Is it
This
like
is
a TV,
always
like cartoon series, but it's long in it?
this was always where superhero stuff was going to end up, wasn't it? Kind of just like
Well,
if
it's the same with The
eight.
Boys, and
Yeah.
there's loads of that stuff now. Like, I mean, you're always going to have the Disney stuff, but I
Mm.
do think, and like Warner Brothers as well. But I do think there'll be like the independent stuff. There's still loads. I mean, comic book wise, there's still massive amounts of stuff. I mean, they haven't ever done a Sandman or anything like that, which was a massive comic. I've never actually read myself, but a lot of people love it.
With the years that comics have been going and how long people have been interested in them, they could
Hmm.
keep movies and TV shows about comics going that long, I think,
Oh
easily.
yeah, if
You
not
know?
longer. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, like with even with this Captain America, they're taking from two or three different ones, but yet they don't have to explore all the characters that are in them. So they could
This
bring
is
up
it.
one of the characters that may die off in the actual comic book that isn't in the TV series, or vice versa, or. So yeah, there's a lot they could do.
Hmm.
But no, I do like. I do like the series. I do think it's something. It's a nice new property, if you know what I mean. Like something I haven't seen. Just watching, I'm just like, I could watch this all day. I'm eager to see what happens next.
I like as well
Um,
that the animation, it looks like a very sort of, it almost looks like Justice League or something. It's a bit,
oh yeah,
obviously it's a,
uh,
or maybe it looks like those new sort of DC animations, Justice League sort of things, not maybe the
mm.
animation from the TV show, but just like it's quite clean
No, it
animation and
does.
really sort of
It looks like the
bright.
the Justice League
Yeah,
animation that we used to watch. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like it's
but
got
it's
enough detail close up, but then when you go away, it's like a little bit less. But
yeah,
no, I do think it's cool. It's just like
but
the
I mean,
goriness of it.
yeah, but I mean, it's dead bright though, and kind of its aesthetic
Mm,
is really sort of cheery and looks like a sort of kids, like you said, like a animation
yeah, yeah.
superhero thing, and then someone's like eye will get but popped out the head, and you're just
I
like,
was just about
whoa,
to say that one thing I noticed is
yeah,
like when I mean I'm just watching the scene now where the Beast Master guy just trashes everybody in
yeah,
this
it's
last
great.
episode. Um and like you can see where he's like where Invincible's had his head kicked and his eyes all like bloodshot and stuff
Mm,
and it looks dope.
mm.
But yeah, yeah, it's such a but I just think there's some really interesting concepts, like the girl that's just about to die, the Beast girl who's like she keeps getting
Yeah,
younger as she
that's
uses her powers and stuff.
yeah.
It's like that's such a cool, messed up idea, but such an interesting thing to explore.
But what I
But
like about the way they've done it in this, sorry, just like things like that doesn't make a whole like comic, and it's just something cool
mm,
to just say that's a cool little idea. This is a character in this massive thing that we don't have to explore too
yeah, yeah.
much. It's just a cool idea dropped in.
Plus, it's like she's the Hulk in a sense, but
Mm,
her curse of it isn't the Hulk. Her curse of it is that she's getting younger. You know what I mean? Like so,
yeah.
it's like the same power with a different value to it. It's interesting, but
Technically, isn't it though?
this guy's
Like
gonna get trashed.
but she kind of doesn't. So she doesn't use her power. Wouldn't she just carry on growing? So if she didn't use her power for like another 5 years, she'd become a teenager again,
Maybe.
and then
I
she'd
don't
use
know.
her. And then, so technically, she's immortal. Like she could,
I honestly
she
haven't
could
thought
never
that. I
use a
mean, she's
power.
not 'cause she's dead, but she
Oh
may
yeah,
have
no,
been.
but I mean, naturally,
Mm.
she
Oh
could have
yeah, yeah.
lived forever because she could have got to like just not use the power for like 20 years and got to
Mhm.
like 30 or something, and then just started using her power loads and got back to like a
Yeah,
teenager
yeah.
again, and then
Like
just kept
15.
doing that every 30 years, just kind of like, yeah, or just have a system where you go, right, I can use my powers this week, but next week I can't, and I'll grow older for another week and then
Yeah,
use my
yeah.
powers for a week. You just have to do that. And you go, well, technically, I'd have half a life extra, you know.
No, well, yeah, well, she said she aged a week in a day, didn't she? So using her powers for a day, she aged a week, or like
I thought he went
de-aged a
no,
week.
I thought yeah, de-aged a week. Oh, that was it. Okay,
Yeah,
so she's a
de-aged a
power for
week.
a day and
Yeah, yeah.
de-aged a week.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Or
so
she like
she'd have
she
to
said
just
like that training today cost me a week, made me a week younger or something like that. So whether that was 2 hours of training or a whole day of training, I don't know, but it seemed quite
doesn't
substantial.
matter. She's dead anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she's
We'll
toast
never
dead.
find out.
She got her face crushed. So, but the robot picked her up and said he's going to save her, didn't he? So
Yeah.
who knows what she's going to become?
Whose was that blood that the robot, like, went to the clone guys and was like, "Is that Omni-Man's blood?" I can't remember where he
I
got it from.
think didn't he get it from? He got it from.
Oh, shit. Was it from Invincible when he got battered in the other episode? I
No,
can't
didn't
remember.
he get it? Because he got some blood. Well, I don't know if he's got blood from a lot of people, but he definitely got blood from the that guy I said before, Max Explosion or whatever his name is. Because he put him on the shoulder and he was like, "Oh, I must have caught a nerve." You know what I mean? He was like, one day you'll and put his hand on his shoulder. He's like, "Ah!" It's like your robot hands or something like that. He's like, "Oh,
Oh,
I must have
shit,
picked a
yeah.
nerve."
Yeah.
So, but was that the same blood, or was it a blood that he got from somewhere else? I can't remember. Like, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. Like, he
I
gave his
don't
blood.
know.
I'm like, is that the same one, or is that something different? Maybe he's
Mm,
creating a team of them because he's giving it to the cloning people. So, I don't know.
yeah.
I can't remember. But them cloning people again, some interesting baddies. I like those.
It's
Um,
excellent, this show. It feels like a kind of
really good.
really sort of a more like a serious Rick and Morty sort of thing. I know that's a weird sort of comparison, but it
Well,
has a sort of
it's a fanboy
gravitas
show.
like a fanboy show,
Yeah.
yeah. And it has a gravitas like Rick and Morty does, even though it's like kind of ludicrous
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But
and
it
funny.
has a fanboy show in the sense it's like it was written by a fanboy. It was
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
written by a fanboy of
100%.
comics. It's basically like like fancy um writing. You know, when people write a Twilight fan art,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
It's
you
for
can almost
superhero.
imagine this is what would
It's really
you could. Yeah, sorry, mate. You cut out there. I
go,
didn't
go,
realize you
go.
were speaking. Yeah, no. I was just thinking though. It's almost like you could imagine this would be like if a fanboy went, "Oh, what if only we could just mash together, like I said, the DC universe, Justice League, and Avengers, and just have a kind of create a new universe." And then they've just kind of
Mm.
gone, "Well, let's just do that and create new characters." And then they've gone, "Wow, we've got a comic here with this idea." And blah blah blah. Blah. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, it definitely looked like someone was looking for something different and found this, but
Mm.
I'm glad they did because it is, and it works perfectly in a comic book. Like in a film, I don't think it'd work quite as. It'd be fun to watch, but I don't think it'd work quite as well because you'd be like, they're getting sued.
Yes,
Whereas in a comic, it sort of works really well. You
and
know what I mean? Like, 'cause it
I
hits all the right notes, but it doesn't feel stupid.
yeah, I don't think the violence or the gore would kind of I don't think it would hit as hard in film, and plus it would probably feel tonally kind of really weird
Mm.
to have it the tone of the show being quite lighthearted and chirpy, and then fucking people's faces ripped off. I think it works
Yeah,
better as a
because
cartoon
like,
for
yeah,
that.
it
Yeah, I
wouldn't
think
make
that's
sense for them
juxtaposed.
to do that because it's like and then laughing it off and drinking and like, hey, have a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
day, you know. Whereas it does in a cartoon because you're like, well, they only have 45 minutes to do it, or you
Mm,
know, whatever. But
mm.
I mean, it's surprising it's 45-minute long for a cartoon anyway. Like, you know, what I mean, like the actual production
Yes.
of it probably cost as much as a movie.
Well, I was just
But
saying it's 8 episodes, so I guess we've got what 3 more to go.
right,
So
but
I
of
didn't
this story, but I don't think it'll finish the whole story, will it?
No, I don't think so. I think it's probably gonna get another season, this,
Make
I imagine.
multiple seasons, yeah, totally,
Yeah. But, I
definitely.
was thinking that I didn't think it would be very long considering how long the episodes are. Because I mean,
Hmm.
animation takes quite a while,
Well,
doesn't it, you know?
it's longer than both Winter Soldier and WandaVision,
It's longer than
if you think of it
WandaVision,
that way.
yeah.
You know, the other series they're on at the moment, it's longer than those and it's animated. So someone had to draw it. They didn't even have to act it. They had to sit there and fucking animate it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, very good series. Um, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I think, he's a great character though, Invincible. I really I do like the way they just wait for the first time someone says his name in the show, and then
Yeah,
that's
I
when the
like
title
that.
card
And
it
then
doesn't matter.
there's just much episode as well gets splashed onto that. Can you hear me?
You're choppy again, are you downloading?
I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything
Oh
at
no,
all.
you might have just it might have just been a natural choppiness from Discord. What did you say?
Oh, right. Yeah, possibly. Um, yeah, each time the invincible sign comes up, it gets covered with more and more blood.
Oh, does it? I
That's
hadn't
what I'm saying.
noticed that actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, because
Oh,
the first episode it's completely clean,
oh, is
and
it?
each episode it gets another splash of blood on it.
Oh, I didn't
So it
notice that.
gets yeah, yeah. So
I
yeah,
did
if you
actually.
watch them all, it's like the first episode is completely clean.
Well, actually, I think I'd noticed the blood actually this time, but I think I didn't realize it hadn't been on there the whole time. Maybe I don't know. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. No, no, no.
Um,
Yeah, literally each episode it's one more, and it's like because obviously it's whatever happens to him that episode. So by this one, it's like caked in blood.
caked in
So
blood.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I
it's
like though
nice.
that this was like halfway through the episode, but before someone said
Yeah, I
invincible.
thought that's what I was like. I totally forgot about that bit. Yeah, shit. Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
it's a great little trope. I think it's such a clever thing. But
Do you reckon it'll
yeah,
end with the last episode? Will end with him saying the word invincible, his name, like, and then that'll be the title card, and then the credits will come up
yeah, probably.
just for a laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's pretty much happened in the first episode, isn't it? Because he didn't say his name before, and it was right at the end. He's like, I'm going to call myself," and then it finished with it, didn't it?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah, actually, they've already done that. Then yeah.
So, so
Yeah,
maybe
so
this
yeah,
one
'cause
will
I
start.
suppose.
Maybe it'll be like, "Hey, oh my god, it's," and it'll say invincible, and it'll start. It'll be like straight away
Yeah,
the last episode.
it's
Who
ace
knows?
though. But
Oh, yeah, it's
yeah, I
good.
did.
Really good.
I loved that scene though. Like I said, when Omni Man just got stuck in he went through that portal, and then he
Oh yeah,
must have
yeah.
spent like 2 weeks on that planet because he grew a beard, didn't he? And it's just like just flying around,
Well,
just
he grew a
trashing the
full beard
place.
though, so he must have spent ages there.
I suppose. Yeah,
Because
it
that,
must have been about a month,
you know, what I mean,
2 months.
well, yeah, yeah, well, however long, yeah, but I mean, it depends how fast he ages. But they were saying that like each time they came through the portal, which was like a week apart, or whatever, was 30 years in
Oh,
our
right.
time. So unless he aged when he got back, but no, he had a beard when he was there, didn't he? So
Well, he
basically,
was
he
only
smashed
there.
on it and then convinced him to send him back. So,
Well, I think in our time, he was only there for like the day, wasn't he, or something? Because he
well,
came
he
back
didn't
in the
turn up at
evening.
night, did he?
Yeah, that's it. So I guess he was
Because he
there
wasn't
for a
in bed
day.
the night, so it was like 2 days at least. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, and
maybe
so
maybe two
probably like
years.
a month or two. Yeah, maybe like
Yeah.
2 years. It's just just trashing the planet, and they're like, "Fuck, we destroyed the civilization." I just don't know. I just
Still,
thought it's. I'm gonna watch the whole series again. Actually, I think before the end. I think I'll
yeah.
start now.
I might
For
watch it
taste.
once it's all out, once the last 3 episodes are out.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
no, I do. I like to say as something that came out of the blue. I didn't know about. You were just like, you should watch this, and I'm like, yeah, yeah. I just started put it on for like 2 minutes and see what it's like, and I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it hooked me straight
I
away.
had
Really.
actually seen a clip. I'd not actually watched the clip, but I'd seen a thumbnail for like, what's his name? Not Ultraman. What's he called? Uberman?
Omni Man. Omni Man.
Omni Man. So many
Yeah.
men. Omni Man.
No, yeah, it's
Hit
just
like
another
Omni
man.
Man kills. Planet Force or whatever the hell they're called. And I
All
was like,
right, yeah.
what? And it was just like a gory scene. But just that bit where the Flash character runs over and he grabs his head and starts squeezing his head and his eyeball popping out, and you're like, oh, he's going to
Yeah,
kill him. All right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because before that, you're like, why is he attacking him? This is a good guy. Maybe it's some test and maybe they're clones. And he just straight up murks at it, and you're like, oh, this is
Well,
bad news.
I hadn't seen anything. Obviously, I just kind of, I think I was just putting it on at work, and I just saw it on Amazon and just saying, "Oh, it's a
Mhm.
superhero cartoon, sound fuck it, I'll just bung it on." And then obviously I got to that bit, and it was just like heads popping and everything, and guts being ripped out, and I was just like, sit up, and I took attention. I was like, okay, this is interesting. What the fuck? Did not expect this, but yeah, and the whole it took me immediately though. Like, I thought this has actually got something to it before the blood and all that. It was
Yeah,
a very
yeah, yeah, yeah,
interesting
totally.
show, and it's funny.
Yeah, I say about 10 minutes into the episode, I was enjoying it. You know what I mean? I was just
Yeah,
like, yeah, I could get used to this. This is good, even though it was
and
slow.
he feels like a kind of mix between sort of Superman and Spider Man. Maybe he's kind of quite wisecracking anyway, like Spidey is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does feel like everything we know about superheroes mashed together into like a new sort of creation, which I kind of like. I like.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I also feel like we don't really know what's going on in the world and stuff like that as well, which is quite good, or how long it's been around and whatever. So,
It.
um, I like the idea, very similar to in the boys, how there's the superhero team and then there's other superheroes, like
Yes.
lesser
Yeah.
teams. Like I
Yeah.
like this setup because you would think in any superhero world this is how it'd be, and it is sort of in DC, but other than the Justice League and the Teen Titans, there's not really anybody as obviously in X-Men. It's in X-Men. In Marvel, it's completely different because there's the Avengers and the X-Men and stuff, but they're not really like lesser teams of the same thing. They're kind of like, we deal with interdimensional stuff, and we
Yeah.
deal with
Yeah.
mutants, and we deal with space. You know what I mean? Like they're
Mm.
separated in a different way almost. Um, but yeah, it's interesting, this one. I like it.
It actually reminded me a little bit of like your original sort of story idea for that the superheroes
Reminded
and
me
their
of that as well.
sidekicks.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, really,
yeah.
a lot of it actually reminded me of that. I was thought, fucking hell, they've
Yeah.
been dipping in on your writing about it or something.
Those sons of bitches. Those
Those
sons of
bastards.
bitches. If
That's what
they have
happens when you
a
sit on an
villain
idea.
called the Nightingale, then I'm suing.
You're gonna be really pissed off, yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
You think that
they're
though?
doing it
I
better
think that we just sit on ideas too long because we've had ideas for things since we were like
for 30 years.
20 or something like long
Yeah, yeah,
earlier. It's like you leave an idea for so long, then someone else, it's like out there in the universe, and someone else comes up with it. Some motherfucker.
yeah.
I
Pretty
think
much.
that's what happens. Yep.
That's how it
Yep.
works, I think.
Yep.
Ah, well.
Mm.
But yeah, for Invincible, I
Loving
give
it.
it 8 Invincibles out of 10.
Yeah, I give it 8 Omnis out of 10 Omnis. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. So I think out of the 3 shows, that's the one. I mean, realistically, if someone said you can either watch that next season 2 of that or season 2 of, say, Winter Soldier, or I'd probably choose Winter Soldier. But I think overall,
Mm,
as is like a cartoon, it's very good. It's
just
like a high level cartoon.
yes, I think just because it's the medium, it's like
Yeah.
you'd rather watch. It feels more gravitas being a show like Falcon Winter Soldier than the
Mm.
cartoon, but I think I prefer it to Welcome. The story. Like I said, if you could somehow
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of put them in the same sort of bracket, and it was a
Yeah.
TV show,
It's
like
yeah.
you'd be,
It's comparing different weight classes. You can be the best of one
yeah,
or the other, but
yeah,
it doesn't necessarily equate one
yeah.
across
It's like
the two.
featherweight,
Sort
where
of.
Falcon Winter Shoulder is like middleweight or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and like Endgame's a
Endgame
heavyweight, yeah,
heavyweight.
heavyweight champion of the world sort of thing. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that sort of thing.
There
Um,
we go.
but no, very good, and I'm looking forward again to seeing the next 2, 3 episodes.
How many? How many? No, how many? How many alien lion men would you give it out of 10?
I would give it, I would give it 8 alien linemen
Yeah, it's
out of
8,
10,
right?
with as long as they have a mace and they're looking for the ultimate challenge
Yeah, yeah,
across the galaxies. Just
yeah,
normal linemen, like, oh, I'm a cowardly lion. They get a million out of 10 because they're terrible lions, so they count
yeah,
for less. But
100%.
like an ultimate super lion man who's looking for the ultimate challenge, 8 of those out of 10.
Yeah,
Not quite
I
10
do
out of
think
10.
it's
It's not the best cartoon I've ever seen,
no,
but it's
but
up there.
it's definitely 8 lion men or equivalent super alien lion men, or across the board, whatever choice you make, it's 8. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, we got it,
yeah,
got it.
yeah. I think the difference between this is I can sit and watch this in any mood with any level of attention. There's no
Yes,
like deeper meaning to it. It's pretty much
uh,
as it comes across. There's obviously going to be like hidden story and stuff, but it's not like about the fragility of man across the universe and how is
mm.
it's just like it's fun like cartoon superhero mayhem,
I don't like the
which is
wokeness
mint.
in it though.
Yeah, it felt like that person getting their face smashed in might have been
Too woke for
trans,
me.
and
Yeah.
should get their face smashed in differently.
Well, they
Yeah,
didn't.
everyone got equal opportunities
Yeah,
smashing faces,
that was
faces
equal.
smashed in. Yeah,
Yeah,
they lost the equal amount of teeth each.
they all got
So,
cancelled brutally.
oh yeah, I
Um,
mean they got cancelled by the bad guy as well, no less. So
yeah, there is
it was
a
even
there
better.
is there they are in an interracial relationship, isn't he? Like so that's pretty woke, isn't it?
And there was technically a what's it called when there's 3 people in a relationship?
um, oh yeah,
Polyamorous.
polyamorous. That's the
Polyamorous.
one. Yeah, it's I'm amazed that you pulled that out of your ass.
I know, right? That's why I was digging deep. I was like, it's in here somewhere. Um, between the 2 Chinese clone people, twin lady, and that dude in the shower. So I mean,
Okay,
and
yeah,
there's
yeah, okay.
technically 4 of her. So,
She's the same person though. Come on. Yeah.
but only when she's inside of herself. Surely when she's outside herself, they experience in different moments in time.
There
Either
is
that or she has some sort of hive mind. Who knows?
yeah, maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Then she must see herself die all the time, just like oh, back of my body.
Pretty
Like,
traumatized,
that
yeah.
sounds hell. Jesus Christ, that'd be awful.
I thought the, what was the other guy, Clancy Brown? You know the one I mean? The what's his name? The demon detective dude.
Oh
Dark
yes,
Darkblood. Damien Darkblood,
yes,
whatever.
yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah, I like
He's
him.
cool. He's like a Constantine Hellboy mix
I think I don't know what's going on with the design of his suit though. It's like kind of he's got a jacket on and a hat, I get it. But he's got
with
this
like a
weird
skin suit thing on. Yeah, yeah, I know what you
space,
mean.
white
Yeah,
space sort of skin suit, like,
yeah,
and he's a
yeah.
devil. And it's just like it's a really weird
It's
mix.
so
I'm
weird.
like,
It's
what's
so weird.
going
Yeah,
on? Why is
no
he in
idea.
it? Why is he
Whoever
in a
drew it
weird
was just like, I'm amalgamating all my favorite characters. So
I know, yeah.
he's like Hellboy, that's Constantine, some space dude. I don't know who the space dude is,
Yeah, I don't know what this
but
I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, apart from that, it's
because it's
very
like
good
the
though, yeah.
robot is like an Iron Man
Mm,
sort of
it's like an
whatever,
Ultron. Yeah.
Ultron, yeah, that's the sort of thing I'm thinking of. It's that sort of mixture of different characters. Like I say, I like the way they've amalgamated the things.
I find myself laughing kind of or just smiling just at moments like just that today or that when I was watching it last one the guy the clone guy the guy who clones himself just when
Yeah,
he
yeah,
started just cut straight to the scene of him starting the process. I just started like laughing kind of just at the whole because he's quite a funny character like and just
yeah.
knowing that
Because
he's
it's big
making another
burly
clone.
thing. Yeah,
I just
and his
started
clone
laughing
instantly wakes up
thinking
as like "Get up, clone," and he's like, "Oh wait, I'm the clone!" Like
shut up.
instantly, I like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just thought it's just a great little thing that they spend time on stuff like that. And
Hmm.
like you said, as a cartoon, they don't usually do things like that. So it's kind of
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
still quite a
totally.
lot of time in it. It's nice. It's
That's the
nice.
thing with the episodes. It's time to explore each of the
Mm,
characters, so
mm.
it's like does invest it. Like when that rock guy you were saying before, like tricks him into taking over control. You're like,
That
that's
was
quite clever.
brilliant.
That's such a
Yeah.
good like because you're like he's the superhero and his dad's telling him not to get involved, and he's like his dad's the bad guy. I don't know, and then it's like he's right in the sense, and then he lets
Mm.
him suffer the consequences of it. Sort of thing. It's quite interesting.
So what do you think's going on then? Do you reckon Omni Man knows he
Well,
did
I
that?
actually know what's going on,
Oh,
so
do
but I
you?
don't want to
Oh,
necessarily
don't. All right, don't
don't want
bother then.
to share it with you. Yeah, so I've got an idea anyway. I've got some idea of what's going on.
Wait,
I
is
know
it an
some of the bits of
idea
it.
or have you read the comic or something? Or?
I know bits of the comic. Yeah, I know bits
Oh,
of the
right,
comic. Some of
yeah.
the big
Okay, we won't
twists.
venture too far then into
Hmm.
until the end.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know what they're going to explore in this, or whether they're going to continue it, or whatever. So
Maybe I should theorize and you should just say nothing.
just sit there and go, interesting.
Yeah, just go,
Interesting. Yeah, you can
"Hmm."
do that. Well, what do you think's going on? What do you think the crack is?
I was thinking, I don't know if I had an idea or a theory up until this point. I think my first theory was that he'd been taken over by someone had found a way to take him over and control him.
Right.
However, he seems to be aware that he did it and he's hiding the fact he did it. Like maybe. So I guess my working theory now is potentially that like the whatever his race is, I can't remember what they're called, but their actual intention once they kind of get to a planet, they do what they do and save people. And then at a certain point they turn and become the ruler of the planet. And actually that's their whole purpose is that's how they overthrow the
Right.
planets or something. That's where I was kind of the
Nice.
working
Yeah,
theory
so
I was
it's like
working on
they're
now.
kind of like Trojan horses. That's a
Yeah,
good
they
theory.
sort
I
of
like it. I like that. That's
yeah, they
interesting.
build up people's trust and then they take the planet over. But then I was like, well, can't they just do that straight away? I mean, they are the most powerful fucking beasts ever on the planet usually, aren't they? So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That was my sort of
Interesting.
theory anyway. But
That's good.
yeah,
I
so I
like it.
don't
That's a
know.
good
We'll
theory.
see. We'll see.
Well, like I
Um,
say, we'll see what they show in this thing, and then we can.
hmm,
Because also, like a lot of like I was watching something about it, but they were saying a lot of what is explored in the comics isn't explored, or is explored differently, or
right.
certain characters died off, haven't died off, in the story and stuff. So it
Well,
looks like they'll go in a slightly different direction anyway, which is good
right.
because then it's not
Well,
100% like on the nose.
just wondering if this is going to be like the overrunning sort of story arc for the entire show, or whether
Mm.
it's going to get resolved this season as to why that happened with Omni Man or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it. Like say with 3 episodes, I mean, it might obviously it could because it's
Yeah.
2.5 hours or whatever, 2 hours 50 minutes. Um, but yeah, it feels like they're going to explore his own, like him becoming like his own superhero, and then possibly go into like the next chapter of it.
Well,
But
I'm
again, I don't
thinking,
know. I don't know. Like, I don't know all the beats of the comic books. I don't know
yeah,
how. Like, it might be 3/4 of the way through the book, and then you only find out at the end. Because, like you say, with that,
what,
I think one of the other ones, it's like some of the comic books they'll just finish with a big cliffhanger, and that'll be the end of the comic book. You know what I mean? It's like
right.
they just did a one like Watchmen sort of thing. It's like Watchmen. You're like, so everything's bad at the end. you know
Okay.
This sucks. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, at the end. So, like, okay, so none of that was for any good. Everyone just failed.
Well,
Shit. And
I guess my main thought with that theory, I guess, with the overthrowing or him taking over the planet, is I'm thinking it's like kind of his genetic makeup. It's like he can't do anything about it. He just becomes a sort of dictator, and turns gradually more sort of evil. It's part of what they do.
who? Invincible,
And
you mean?
no, Omni Man.
And his dad.
And
Omni Man,
because
right?
Omni-Man's his dad, like, yeah, so his dad does that and starts to overtake, becomes basically the big bad of the show and overtaking
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
planet. And because Invincible is part human and his mother, as part of his mother, like in him, she convinces him, and it becomes him. He's obviously the hero of the show versus his dad, who's the
Hmm.
fucking villain. I think that might be the overarching sort of final way they go with it, maybe. That it,
Well, I mean, at this point, like, if
mm,
Invincible does continue to develop his powers, there's not going to be anybody for him to fight. If his dad's the most powerful person on the planet, then he'll
exactly.
essentially become some version of it. Because I don't know
Yeah.
how his human DNA will affect his powers or whatever.
Mm,
But
mm.
yeah, yeah. But we shall see in the next 2, 3 weeks. Looks
But
quite interesting though.
yeah, I like having a show or a cartoon even like that's just so interested, but has me thinking like this, because I very rarely think about
Mm.
animation in this sort of level.
Oh no, no, and it's not often that I'll watch a episodic animation unless I'm watching
Yeah.
like 5 episodes of um, Bob's Burgers or something. Like so I'll just
Or
sit and watch
like
like
what's
2 or 3
called that
episodes of the series or
that
Rick and
bloody
Morty.
or that Castlevania that was on recently
Yeah, you'll
on
sit and
Netflix,
watch the
something like that.
season if it's on,
Yeah,
but, like,
yeah.
as a weekly thing, it's quite surprising that I'm coming back each week, and I'm looking forward like, say, obviously, I watched the first 4 in one go, which was
Mm,
nice.
mm.
Um,
I think I did
but,
three
uh,
first
but
time
I've been
around.
eager to yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But that's enough to get you like, "This is
Oh
cool."
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's like it makes me eager to then come and watch it each week, so,
In fact, I think
and like I say, you don't get that much with cartoons.
yeah, yeah. In fact, I think I'd started it, like I said, and I think the moment that fight scene, the Omni-Man scene in the first episode
Mhm.
happened, I think that's when I texted you and was just like, watch Invincible. Like, this
Watch
is
this.
fucking
Yeah, yeah,
insane. Like,
yeah.
this is going to be good.
Yeah, so I think the next day I watched the first 4 episodes, so yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and then waiting a week just like, "What's gonna happen now?" But it's good because it
Mm.
comes out on the same day as Winter Soldier,
Yeah,
and
I
it
like
came
that.
out on the same day that, Godzilla came out, so I
All
watched
right.
the 3 of them back to back, hence our evening tonight. Whichever order that people have listened to these in, they were all recorded at the same time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I watched them all the same night because I was just like, "I'll watch this. Oh, what can I watch now? I'll watch this." So it was quite nice, quite a
Well,
good
yeah.
bit of
Well, they've
cinema.
all been out this week, haven't they? Anyway, so yeah, I've kind of watched them sporadically. I think I watched Godzilla twice though, so kind of got.
Well, hopefully in the next week or so, I'll be able to watch Snyder's Justice League,
Mm.
and I'd love to discuss that with you because I'm sure that you've been. I mean, I'm sure you've discussed it once or twice with people, but
I haven't
yeah,
actually
that's the
discussed
one.
it with
Have you not?
anyone.
Well,
No
we can
one,
discuss that in depth.
yeah,
Um,
no one I know, you, none of my other friends who I don't do podcasts with, none of them have seen it. For some reason, no one seems to have
do you know
paid
why?
to watch it.
Because you can't get it anywhere
Oh
without
no,
pirating it in the UK. So yeah,
that'll
you
be it
just
then. Yeah, it's
literally
fine.
can't find it anywhere. I've tried, mate. I was willing to pay 20 quid for it.
So I've just exposed myself on a podcast now that I
I
have
was watching it
priority
on
for.
HBO because you've got a
Like
Express
this,
VPN,
this.
and you watched it on HBO in America though. That's why you
Yeah, oh,
got it.
there you go. This is it. Yeah, you're not accusing me of piracy. This is it. It's like because
No,
obviously
no, no, I know it,
that's
but
how
you
I did
understand
it.
technology. I don't understand how to do it at Express
Yeah,
VPN and
VPN
watch on
because
HBO in America.
yeah, because we're sponsored by ExpressVPN, and
Express VPN. If you're
if you want
traveling
to,
around the world and want to watch HBO Max, you can
yeah,
watch it anywhere in the world. I think.
yeah, if you're looking to see what Netflix is has on in Australia, they got
Or
nothing of us.
Australia, North Korea. What are they showing on Netflix in North Korea? Well, you can find out with ExpressVPN. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one. That's what I want to see. And the worst thing is, my Xbox has an offer on at the moment, like on the rewards thing, that says if you watch 3 films for 3.99 or more, you'll get 2,000 points, whatever the fuck it is. And one of the
Okay.
pictures on there is Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I
Hmm.
clicked on it, and it's not on the Microsoft store yet. It's like coming soon. It had
You
that, and
assholes.
it had 2
You
films I want to see. It had that and
assholes.
Monster Hunter. It had that and the new Monster Hunter film, and I was like, "They're both films I'd pay a tenner to watch. I'll watch both of those.
It's all right
Just
that.
give me something to watch tonight." And
It's
neither
all
of
right
them were
that
on there.
film. That
Well, the
Monster
Monster
Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah,
Good.
it's
I'll
decent,
watch it when it comes on, when I can
I
get hold of
liked
it.
it. Tony Jaa's in it.
Oh, nice. I knew
Yeah,
Tony Jaa was in it, actually,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I do like the games. Like I loved like I bought a Wii, a Nintendo Wii for Monster Hunter. Like we had every console, but we had that specifically for Monster Hunter, and I loved it.
Mm.
Um, I did think with Mila Jelasovic um, filming it, making it. And I think it's her husband that filmed it. I was like, oh, it's not going to be Resident Evil, is it? They're not going to ruin it. But I've heard
True.
it's meant to be quite good. So, and it looks
Yeah, I
pretty
thought
dope.
that.
Like the big monsters look ace.
I
So
thought that it's actually not as bad as Resident Evil films. It's actually fairly competent and decent and coherent.
Resident Evil films are good for what they are. They're just not.
Yeah,
If you're a fan of the games, then you won't be a fan of the films. But if you're a fan of cheesy zombie films, they're the best ones.
it's
They're the
actually
cheesiest and the zombiest.
it's actually more like I said, more coherent than I thought it would be. And I was
Yeah,
like, it's pretty action packed. Actually, there's some decent stuff in it, and she's
nice.
actually she doesn't feel like Alice anyway. Put it that way. She feels
Good, good.
yeah, she feels
Yeah, she's
fairly
acting.
good character. Yeah, yeah.
It felt like she was phoning Alice in a little bit,
I
a couple of
feel like she
times.
phoned in
By number
several of
7 or 8,
those
yeah, I was gonna
Resident
say,
Evil movies.
by number 15, I felt like she was so and to be honest, like, they kept on having actors going, "This is Chris Redfield," and then you never see that character again. Even sometimes at the end of the film, they'd be there on the rooftop or the ship or whatever, and in the next scene, it's the start of the next movie, and it's either a different actor or they're not there at all. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was all over the place. Um, but yeah, that sounds pretty good. But either way, both of these were advertised on this picture, and I'm like, sweet, I'll watch both of those films, and that's two of the films I need to watch, and one other, and neither of them are on the Microsoft Store. So I'm assuming they'll be there in the next couple of days, and
Hopefully.
we'll do a Snyder Cut slash Monster Hunter
Well, we need, like I said, I
breakdown.
really need to do. I do need to do a proper big chat about because I've only done that sort of no spoilers chat, and it's pointless.
Well,
So
to be honest, I don't think anybody else is doing reviews and stuff of TV series. I don't think anyone else is doing it, so we might as well jump on that train because I don't think there's any
yeah,
review shows. I've not seen any.
no, we are. I mean, we are
I
cutting
think
edge.
you're the only one.
I've not seen anything on YouTube that's reviewing movies and TV shows like we are.
No, no, I don't think
So
anyone else does that. We could be the first
I think we've.
pioneers.
I think we already are, mate. We've cornered the market on this now. No one's gonna really get ahead of us on this now.
No, no,
So
no,
you know,
no way, Jose.
keep at it. Just keep doing it. Keep at it. I'm gonna do. I'm watching Lord of the Rings. Might review that. No one's probably reviewed that yet. I mean, that's pretty contemporary, and I mean, it's only like 20
Yeah,
years old,
I
something
mean,
like that.
don't do a spoilers one though because you'll offend people.
No,
Um,
no, I'm gonna do the theatrical cut
no,
as well.
no
Review.
spoilers. Theatrical cut, Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Just talk about like the acting and like what it looks like and the sets and stuff. Just
Yeah.
really go deep into the mise en scène.
But then,
So
and
yeah,
also like really old news that people know about a lot, because they might not have heard it, just stuff that
yeah,
happened on
that makes
set, like,
sense. Like
Aragorn almost cut his hand off or whatever the fuck it was.
I thought you meant like Diana's death and stuff. You just got to put on old news, just like Twin Towers. Like, but it's like it's breaking. Like you'll never guess what happened in
Should do a
2001.
whole
Uh,
I'm gonna do a whole
a whole
show like
series.
that. Just, just where you just report stuff that happened a while back on the internet as if it's just happened. Like,
Yeah, as if like, I've just read this on the news. Did you know that in the
but yeah, Twin
1930s?
Towers. Like, on fucking September 11th.
I'm guessing we're back into the downtime bit, so we'll
I
keep
don't know.
talking to.
I've got no
I was going to
idea
say
when that.
we finished our Invincible conversation about 5 minutes ago, so
I don't know when it ended. When
do
the
that
fuck
for your
did that
time
end?
clock. But fuck knows. But you'll find it somewhere around there where you're just like, oh, we're trailing off, we're talking shit.
Yeah. Okay. Where are we now? I'll just fucking waffle through when we're not talking about Invincible anymore. And we're just
Yeah,
going.
yeah. Once we start
It's
trailing off about something, yeah, just be like, yeah, I'm done with that.
and I'm mentioning fucking 9/11. Okay,
Yeah,
might
I
just
know.
leave.
See, we've mentioned 9/11 a couple of times tonight. I mentioned it earlier as well. I just feel like I must have introduced it to the psyche, and then it was like you were like, "Oh, I've just digested that, and I'll just spew it back out now."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, I've
it's
got some
like,
pretty, to be honest, on that subject, mate. I've got some pretty hard hitting news. I've
oh
just
yeah,
it turns out like it was an inside job, mate. I don't know if you know that.
oh fuck off. No, I've never seen
Yeah,
anything about.
I've listen. I've just been for just looking into it.
But if
Like,
I mean, come on, if it was an inside job, then it wouldn't fall down at the right speed. They must have tested like the fuel or something
well,
to
there's
suggest that it's not going to melt the metal. It would have fallen down differently.
there's a lot of expert info out there. I'll be honest.
Really?
Now that I've discovered, yeah, and it's weird. No one's. I don't think anyone's discovered it. I don't think it's ever. I can't find anything about it on YouTube. I mean, it's probably it's
I mean, you probably won't
probably
anymore.
overdone.
There
Yeah,
probably
that's what
has
I'm
been.
saying. Like,
It's because they
it's
get
time to
cancelled.
start it
That's why,
again.
mate. Don't you think it's
So,
weird? Because like, if they cancel enough stuff, then the stuff we're talking about won't be accessible to anybody in the future.
I know, yeah,
Like, there'll be things we can reference. Like, say for that example, say that everything for the Twin Towers being an inside job was cancelled off YouTube, then that would never be accessible to ninety
yeah.
percent of the population in the future.
That's what I mean.
That's
That's what
interesting.
censorship kind of does. It's like rewrite. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
like you
totally.
said, in 20 years, there'll be a whole generation new people who are 20 who have got
Mm,
who've never heard the phrase 9/11 was an inside job, the important
yeah.
phrase. Like the fucking, and so they'll never even think about it. It's weird that, isn't it? But
Interesting. Very
I was
strange.
also thinking we might end up like I could have said something in one of the earlier podcasts, when we were really early on and it was dead ropey, and I was
The good
saying,
old days. The good old days. That's
yeah,
when we
the
were
real
free, Dan. That's when we were free. Not before all
fresh
these
and
fucking companies weighed us down with their fucking liberal ideas. Yeah, go on.
mate. It's before all the money came in, really, for us.
Before
Like,
we
like
hit big,
yeah,
like back when we were true, we were gritty and raw and punk, and
raw.
now
That's
we
it. When we
sold
were
out. We
edgy,
sold out
mate.
instantly.
We were a pair of edgelords back then.
we're like razor sharp, and now we're blunt little tools.
This is it.
But
We're
but the
pampered
money
now,
was
mate.
worth it. It was worth every penny, mate. I wouldn't give all the hookers back. So it's
I
worth every
wouldn't. I'm
penny.
not giving any in the back. They're staying in
No
the
regrets. No
basement
regrets.
where I keep them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't even remember what the fuck we were talking about.
There we go. That was our thoughts on Invincible. Episodes 1 to 4. We'll be back with a full roundup of the whole series when it's finished. I think we're about halfway through, actually. 1 to 5, something like that. 1 to 4, whatever we watched that, I can't remember. Anyway, we'll be back soon. I'm Dan. He's been Chris. This has been Word of the Horde, and this was an extract from our podcast, That Famous Podcast. Thanks for listening. Cheers. See ya. Bye.